And it looked like the Indiana Fever front office is in serious trouble for revealing some major information. Guys, how come I'm not seeing no scouts, bro? Or the scouting department? Do they even have a scouting department? You mean to tell me, as I look through this thing right here, y'all done made all the well, y'all done made, hold on.
Herb Simon believed a championship would just assemble itself, that talent alone could cover the gaps. Instead, the Fever are stuck with hollow promises, shaky signings, and a culture that never quite takes root. And in the middle of it all, Caitlin Clark, the brightest star the league has ever had, can only watch as the cracks in Indiana's foundation split wider by the day.
It's a team that has blown double-digit leads all season long. We just lost to the goddamn Washington Mystics. Terrible, man. That is a bad basketball team. They got two young, rising stars. They're rookies. We got dominated by Sonia Citron and Kiki Ariafin. They was just taking math class and sociology and chemistry 3 months ago. And they came out there and dominated us.
Fans shell out premium prices just for a glimpse of her brilliance. But the roster around her is nowhere close to matching the standard she sets. The Caitlin Clark effect is undeniable. Attendance soars, ratings spike, and the league thrives. Yet inside Indiana, Simon's ownership tells a different story. Neglect, mismanagement, and a franchise squandering the very gift it was handed.
Bottom line, though, is Caitlin Clark is missing, and that is showing, and I think everybody is missing her, including myself. She has carved out this really big niche in the WNBA. A lot of fans have come to see her, and she unfortunately has just been plagued with injury after injury, and the Indiana Fever have had to try to tread water or keep afloat, and fans are trying not to lose hope until and if she returns, because Caitlin Clark is the reason that a lot of people, myself included, are just so drawn to the WNBA, so drawn to her play style. And I gotta say, I really feel for the rest of the...
Herb Simon is back to his old habits, every decision in Fever land reduced to a let-them-figure-it-out experiment. He barely cracks open the checkbook, yet the arena still sells out before he's done counting the profits. On the flip side, you've got the illusion of ownership, the kind of monopoly money confidence only the ultra-rich can afford, believing success can be bought without effort. And at the center of it all sits a franchise praying their superstar can drag the whole operation on her back. Spoiler, she can't.
Process of building a $78 million practice facility, the Indiana Fever consistently draw over 16,000 fans to their home games. The Indiana Fever, amongst the top franchises in the league when it comes to merchandise sales. The Indiana Fever, now you know, marketing campaign. Kelly Krauskopf saying she wants to be the Apple of the WNBA. You would think, after all of these accolades, after all of the speculation, after all of the now you know, you'd think that we'd have a scouting department, right?
Herb Simon strolled into the Caitlin Clark era, acting like success would arrive gift-wrapped, only to reveal he'd been cutting corners on the very foundation a contender needs. Worse yet, the Fever have tossed away golden opportunities with both hands. Instead of building a world-class scouting department, bringing in top-tier coaches, and surrounding Clark with championship talent, they chose the bargain bin route, phone-a-friend scouting, and a roster built on hope rather than strategy.
You lying to me. I think they merchandise sales was up 300%. Y'all done made all them millions off CC Effect. And y'all ain't hired no damn scouts. Caitlin's in deep trouble. Oh, it's looking real spooky. You mean to tell me y'all done made all the millions, bro, sold all them damn jerseys, and y'all do not have a scouting department? What the fuck? You mean to tell me? Hold on. Are you serious?
Herb Simon happily cut the check for shiny practice facilities, but ignored the human infrastructure that actually finds talent. Some Fever executives looked so out of their depth they barely knew who they were signing. It was less front office strategy and more like loitering outside agent meetings, basketball's version of Woodstock, hoping the sound of competent decision-making might echo through the walls.
Bird chick, man. You're always picking up these random, dog. Like they're going to Walmart. Hey, yo, can you play? All right, I got you. Go on a team. Like, come on, man. I'm sick of these players. Well, we're at the point where you just need a body. I just hope she puts a better performance than Sims did, because Sims was god awful. Sims looked like she never played basketball before. She was horrible. Somehow we have Turner on the team. I don't get it. But yeah, this new player, I looked her up. Average 6.8 in college. Not impressive, man. I think she's just a body.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. Now, let's talk about the Fever's so-called scouting department. Drop a resume in their office and you'll hear it echo. The copy machine in accounting sounds more like a war room than the actual front office. This isn't a scouting system, it's a suggestion box. And while other teams build pipelines of talent, Indiana is borrowing spare minutes from organizations that actually know what they're doing. That's not just negligence, it's organizational malpractice. At this point, Herb Simon isn't just a passive owner, he's a cultural liability. The league ought to be cutting him hazardous duty pay for letting this franchise's potential rot on his watch. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham is left stranded on the bench, trying to figure out why her experience and energy are being wasted while the team gasps for leadership on the floor.
We lost by 1 point to them. The third quarter, they went on a 19-0 run. You hear me? Which put them up by 12. By the fourth quarter, they was up by 12 points. That's ridiculous. And then let me say this. What sense does it make for Stephanie Jigsaw White to take out Lexi and Sophie at the same time? You hear me? At the same time. Her rotations don't make no sense to me, and if it don't make sense to me, that allows me to think otherwise. She is fixing these games. The organization is in on it too as well. I'm sorry, at the end of the day, like I said, they just dragging us along to keep making money. Caitlin Clark, aka my precious CC, she ain't coming back.
Sophie gets the occasional starting nod, usually wedged between baffling rotations and a live commercial for organizational dysfunction. But here's where it crosses into the outright criminal. Caitlin Clark goes down, and suddenly the Emperor has no clothes. The same player who single-handedly dragged this franchise into relevance, delivering $78 million in attention, selling out arenas, and turning the WNBA into appointment television gets hurt, and the entire house of cards collapses. Not because she wasn't great. Not because the fans stopped showing up, but because Herb Simon and his front office built a Ferrari engine without brakes, without steering, and with
that we'd have some bodies that sole job, the sole purpose, their sole designation within this franchise is just to sit in a dark room watching hours and hours and hours of film of players overseas. You'd think at least that's what Apple would probably do, right? If Apple was running the Indiana Fever, they'd probably invest in something like that.
Look at what happened when Caitlin Clark went down with that groin injury. Not just any injury, her third of the season. Each one a reminder that this franchise had no plan B. Overnight, the Fever went from would-be contenders to scrambling for 7-day contracts with players they'd never even scouted. Kira Lambert signs a deal, and head coach Stephanie White admits she barely knew who the team had just brought in. That's not roster management. That's fantasy football with real consequences. Meanwhile, veterans like Sophie Cunningham watch quality minutes slip away while the coaching staff stitches together lineups on the fly. You've got a proven defender and clutch shooter wasting away on the bench while the team bleeds leads in fourth quarters. That's not development, it's negligence dressed up as experimentation. And then comes the elephant in the room, Brianna Turner. The Fever signed her to help with scouting and player evaluation. Sounds smart until you remember this team doesn't even have a real scouting department. So instead of hiring professionals, they've got an active player moonlighting as a scout. That's not innovation. That's malpractice. It's the basketball equivalent of asking your Uber driver to perform heart surgery because you didn't feel like paying for a doctor.
All the above. It's seeing film, watching clips, talking to contacts and connections. Bree and especially has been super helpful in this. She's got a lot of contacts overseas who have seen Kyra, for example, play a lot overseas. Teammates that she's had that are over there that played with her.
Now, it was at that moment right there, everybody antennas went off. She said Bree Turner actually discovered Kyra Lambert. Hold up, wait a minute. How the hell do Bree Turner discover a player? She's no scout. She's no recruiter. How the hell? She's supposed to be focusing on the season of bad she playing. But y'all got Bree Turner scouting players.
The Fever's front office is in such disarray that when pressed about their scouting process, head coach Stephanie White basically described something that sounded like phoning your basketball-obsessed cousin for advice. It's all hands on deck seeing film, watching clips, talking to contacts and connections, she said. Translation: we're making it up as we go, because Herb Simon never invested in the infrastructure a championship-level franchise requires. And here's the most damning part of this entire Simon disaster. Caitlin Clark is carrying this organization so completely that her absence literally breaks the team. Without Clark, the Fever are 1-9. With her, they're 8-5. Think about that. The most transformative player in women's basketball history, a generational talent who sells out arenas and shatters television records, is being failed by an ownership group that treats roster construction like a weekend hobby. The injury situation shines a floodlight on everything wrong with Simon's hands-off approach. Caitlin Clark never missed a single game in college or during her rookie year. Her durability was legendary. Yet suddenly, in her second season, she's dealing with multiple injuries to different parts of her body. That doesn't just happen. That points directly to training staff, medical protocols, and load management, all areas where serious organizational investment separates healthy stars from broken ones.
Indiana Fever team taking Caitlin Clark serious, taking the window that they have with Caitlin Clark as serious as they possibly can. You'd think that they would invest in some overseas scouting, right? Right. It seems as if the overseas scouting department, some YouTube highlights, some clips, and a couple phone calls with a person on the other end saying, "Trust me, bro, trust me." Hey, is she good? Trust me, bro, trust me, she's good. Oh, that's all I needed to see here. Is she good? Trust me, bro, trust me.
When Caitlin Clark went down with her quad injury early in the season, the Fever should have been ready. Instead, they scrambled. When she returned and immediately re-injured her groin, that should have been a red flag about rushing players back too quickly. And when she suffered a second groin injury, missing an all-star game hosted in her own arena, that should have been the ultimate wake-up call about the team's medical protocols. But it gets worse. Replacement players were being signed on the fly, with no real evaluation. Odyssey Sims on a 7-day contract fine, at least she's logged WNBA minutes. But then came Kyra Lambert, a player who has never played a single WNBA game, signed to fill holes left by season-ending injuries to Sydney Colson and